Hello, children. How are you? Once again, welcome back to our biology class. Our next chapter for this session is management of resources. Now, children, you might be remembering that we had done a very important lesson on our environment in one of our previous classes. You know that our environment is very important and it has a great impact on our survival. We have learned about the biodegradable and the non-biodegradable resources as well. We learned about the different trophic levels. We learned about the ecosystems, natural or artificial. Now, this chapter is management of natural resources. What do you mean by management of natural resources? Now, as Mahatma Gandhi ji has rightly said, that the earth is providing sufficient for our needs, but not enough for our greed. So we have to ensure that we are not greedy. We are not damaging the resources. Why? So that we can pass it on as a legacy to our future generations. Not only that, we have to ensure that a proper environmental balance is maintained. So this lesson is very important from the environment point of view and also, of course, from your examination point of view, because this lesson is holding a lot of weightage for your examination purpose also. So we'll be discussing many things concerned to our natural resources. Now, when I say about natural resources, what exactly do I mean? Yes, I mean about the land or the soil. I talk about the air. I'll be talking to you about water. These are the natural resources. These are not something that is made by man, that is available to us in the nature. God has provided it to us, and it is our duty. It is a duty of each and every person or individual living on this planet Earth to ensure that all these resources are being maintained in a harmonious manner, because we cannot be selfish. We are sharing this planet Earth with each and every living creature. So we should remember that when we are doing some harm to the environment, directly or indirectly, it again comes back to us. Because when the environmental balance is disturbed, of course, our existence also is at stake. So children, let us continue with the chapter. Let us learn about the management of natural resources. So happy learning. Thank you. So children, are you all ready? Can we go ahead with the chapter? Yes. Our next chapter is management of natural resources. Okay, I have just shared some slides with you. Let us go through the slides and simultaneously I'll be explaining to you about the key concepts of this lesson. What are natural resources? Let us go to a very basic topic. What are natural resources? That is something about which you might have started studying from your lower classes. What are natural resources? They are the resources that are available in nature. You may take air, water, sunlight, soil, minerals, forests, wildlife, consisting of all sorts of animals around you. All these together constitute natural resources. There are two main types. What are they? They are renewable natural resources, and the other one is non-renewable natural resources. Renewable means what? Something that you can get back. So those resources which can be replenished means regained, got back again in a short period of time, like air, water, sunlight, forests, etc. These are called renewable natural resources. Let me explain. You don't have to put in any extra effort. Air is there, available. We are taking it for granted, aren't we? Water is there. Sunlight is there. Forests are there. No man has to do anything for replenishing them. They are automatically getting replenished. What is the other type then? The other type is non-renewable natural resources. What do you mean? From that very word you can understand. Those resources that cannot be replenished in a short period of time, like coal, petroleum, natural gas, metals, etc. Because they take many years to be formed, and it is not in our hand also. It takes a lot of time. Human activities are producing lot of waste. Our standard of living is improving. We are using too many things, and these things are being thrown away into the environment. And as a result, these wastes are causing pollution of our natural resources, that is our air, water, forests, All these are at stake. So this is what we are going to discuss in this chapter. Let us view the next slide. So that was all about your natural resources, about introduction about natural resources. Now we go to the next slide, that is about Ganga Action Plan. Now children, you might have heard that our Ganges River or the Ganga River is a very important river. It is considered to be a holy river. Once upon a time, it was considered as a blessing to have a few drops of Ganga water before a person used to pass away, because it was considered to be very holy. Taking bath in the Ganges was considered to be another holy matter, and it was thought about. Of course, it is a myth. You may take it as a belief, but of course, different people can have different beliefs. So it was thought that if you take bath in the holy Ganges, directly you will be going to the heavens. Such thoughts were there. Ganga was considered to be a very holy or a sacred river. But what is the state of the Ganges now? The Ganga river is extremely polluted. So our government has taken one Ganga Action Plan, or GAP, which was launched by Shri Rajiv Gandhi in the year 1986 in order to reduce the pollution in the river. Because so many types of wastes are just flowing into the river. Human wastes are there, industrial wastes are there, religious events or religious wastes are there. What do you mean by human waste? Domestic wastes, like bathing. People are bathing there, people are washing their clothes. Not only that, they use the banks of the river for defecation. That is, they go to toilets there. The industrial waste means all the factories or industries that are there nearby, they are dumping their wastes into the river. The religious events, I told you, Ganges is considered to be a very holy river. So many pujas or many festivals and all are conducted on the banks of the Ganges. And people think that to bath in that river is cleansing them from their sin. A Hindu belief is also based on that. And another Hindu belief is there where the people's ashes, after their death, they are being dropped into the river at Varanasi. And it was thought that the people get salvation. They go directly to the heavens. So such are the thoughts, and we are not responsible for the thoughts of the people. So Ganga Action Plan is a very important action taken up by the government for the purification of the river Ganges. So there is a small slide here again showing you some pictures about the natural resources. Okay, children. So now let us discuss something more about the Ganges River. How the Ganges River is getting polluted. You know that the Ganga runs its course of over 2,500 kilometers from the Gangotri. Its origin is, or it is starting or beginning from the Gangotri in the Himalayas, and it joins the Ganga Sagar in the Bay of Bengal. It is being turned into a drain. It has become a drain by more than 100 towns and cities of Uttar Pradesh, Bihar and West Bengal, because these are the three states along which the Ganges flows. And these states, they pour their garbage and excreta into it. Largely untreated sewage, garbage, etc. is dumped into the Ganges every day. So think about the pollution that is caused because of human activities like bathing, washing clothes, immersion of ashes or unburnt corpses or dead bodies. And industries are also contributing to the chemical wastages. And as a result, the pollution is increasing. Not only that, the water is becoming toxic or poisonous. And because of that toxicity, the fishes in the river are being killed in the large sections of the river. So this is just a small fraction of the pollution that is taking place in the Ganges. And as I told you, our government has taken up the Ganga Action Plan for the purification of the river Ganges. So this Ganga Action Plan aims to mainly create an awareness about the problems caused by unthinking exploitation of our resources. We are actually exploiting the resources. Are we thinking whether we are doing a good work, or whether we are thinking about the ecological balance being disturbed? No. We are not thinking about any of the problems that are being caused by us, and that is what is happening in our society in the present situation. But this awareness has to rise up. So in order to create that awareness among the people only, the government has taken up the action called the Ganga Action Plan. You also might have heard about it. It is a multi-crore project It was started in the year 1985 because it was found that the quality of the river Ganges was very, very poor. And now the treatment has started and they are finding out the remedy for that. But what is the main reason why this river is getting polluted? On studies, when studies were conducted, it was found that there was a group of bacteria called the coliform bacteria that was found in that water. But what is this coliform bacteria? Coliform bacteria actually are organisms that are present in the environment and in the feces. Feces means the human excreta of all the warm-blooded animals and humans. Coliform bacteria will not cause any illness directly, but their presence in the drinking water shows that the disease-causing organisms could be in the water system. So that was how it was found that the coliform bacteria that are usually found in the intestines of the living organisms, including human beings, it was found in the water, and the Ganges water was found to be contaminated with the coliform bacteria. So this also showed us that human excreta or the excreta of the other animals was there in the water. So what is a remedy for all these problems? Do we need to feel powerless? No, there's no need to feel powerless or overwhelmed because of so many problems, because definitely there is a solution for our problems. You must have already learned about the 3 R's. I told you just now about the 3 R's. That is reduce, recycle, and reuse.